Hi everyone, and welcome to Top Cut of our October PC in lovely Norwalk, California at
Unrated Gaming.
Yes, Unrated Gaming. We love our local venue. My name is Taryn.
And I am Terry.
Yes, Terry has been commentating. I have been playing. I didn't make Top Cut as usual. And this is Emotional Support Pikachu, our unofficial SoCal mascot.
Yeah, it's really cute.
So here we are. We are here with our first Top Cut match, Anthony Morales versus Anthony Plasencia.
The battle of the names.
Yes, Anthony versus Anthony. Oh, there we go.
Hey. Oh wow, already locked in.
Yes, so Anthony Morales is already locked in. If you want to take that team there.
Yeah, so Mr. Morales with Kyogre, Lunala, Bronzong, Tapu Lele, Hitmontop, Whimsicott.
And Anthony with Yveltal, Tapu Koko, Metagross, Amoonguss, Kyogre, and Incineroar.
So looking at the restricted here, there's the same weather, and one of the restricted partners beat the other, and that may seem like a matchup in Anthony Plasencia's favor, but there are tools that Anthony Morales has to be able to come out on top.
This is gonna be a fun match.
Oh yeah.
So of course, as we said, Morales has locked, and now Anthony has as well.
Yeah, so Anthony Morales.
They even look the same.
Oh man.
Oh.
But yeah, Mr. Morales, very prepared, very ready. He locked in so early, and it's actually Anthony Plasencia who is going to take his time with the Yveltal. So here it is, double fairy, very obviously watching out for the opposing Yveltal. That's the number one concern in Mr. Morales' head right now.
So, oh, this is too funny. I can't. And of course, Anthony Plasencia is leading with Metagross and Yveltal, which of course does have a weakness to the opposing Whimsicott and Tapu Lele.
Yeah, so the kind of silver lining is that the Metagross can threaten immediately, but I think Metagross being weak to the opposing Lunala, there's that emphasis on maintaining that positioning to keep Metagross safe, but also be able to keep it attacking.
And Tapu Lele comes out for our lovely Kyogre, which, you know, we need a little bit in SoCal right now. I love if a Kyogre would come visit us.
It's too hot and dry in November.
It's too hot and dry, and we're too on fire.
Yeah.
And of course, Primordial Sea coming up, meaning that heavy rain will begin to fall. Metagross coming in with the Mega Evolution. I can hear the sound. Like, I can hear, yeah. I think I hear the sound in my sleep sometimes.
Yeah, same, me too. Oh, the Iron Head, yeah. So the target is called correctly, but the Whimsicott is sashed, and this creates some other issues that may come into play in the next two turns. Oh, actually, never mind. That possibility is eliminated outright. One move I was watching out for was Endeavor, because after Sash, it's left at 1 HP. So if you Tailwind that turn, there's not much that the Yveltal or the Metagross can do in Psychic Terrain to kill it before the Endeavor. So that means that it's actually really important for that Pokemon to go down right now. So I would say that this was a very calculated, and in this example, a very effective play.
And Tapu Lele coming back out to replace the fainted Whimsicott. Lele using Moonblast on, yes, our lovely Yveltal.
Oh, and yeah, that's scary, but wow.
That is...
So the Yveltal has been trained to survive a Moonblast from Tapu Lele. Whether it's timid or modest is yet to be seen, but
that Metagross takes out that Lele, and we see a Z move coming out when we can't tell.
Oh, yeah.
From that Yveltal.
So one cool thing about the Z set is that there are two different ways to play it, physical and special obviously, but when we just see this, it's hard to tell what it is. My guess, based on the usage data though, would be that this is Z-Foul play going into Kyogre, and the high physical damage should be able to get a KO or do big damage onto the Kyogre depending on its spread. That looks like a speedy, less bulky set, given that it just KO'd in one hit.
That was my heart, a black hole eclipse.
Yeah, that's nothing but just pitch black darkness.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean now with the Lunala, yeah. So it looks like the Yveltal just ran the show by keeping us safe against the opposing Lele, and that was the point of the Metagross. So I really like the lead coming from Anthony Plasencia.
And Morales, of course, forfeiting. Probably, usually when you forfeit, you're trying to not give your opponent information.
Yeah.
So I think
in the larger
that's what's
context
going on.
of a tournament, it's absolutely correct. Since if you're thinking about games as the ultimate thing to win, then yeah, that's a big deal. But you can win tournaments without winning every game. So in a way, games are also resources informationally for you to be able to increase your odds of winning the game after. And I think that's what Anthony Morales is going to do with a slight mix-up probably. It seemed that the plan that he brought was accounted for by Anthony from turn 1, and there weren't enough tools that were selected in game 1 for Anthony Morales to overcome that. So I would like to see a little more pressure on the opposing Metagross. Since for Anthony, I think this play is pretty safe. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go for this again.
So then, you know, no qualms here. You are obviously a better player than I. You are one of our best players in SoCal.
I wouldn't say that. I haven't been playing.
Yes, Terror Bear. So then, if you were Morales, what would you do?
That's the thing. I feel like it might have to be something like Lele and Lunala to scare off the opposing Metagross. But if we look at Anthony's set, that is a Z Evaltal, and they're generally very fast. And Evaltal is base 99 speed, and Lunala is base 97. So unless that Lunala is scarfed, the Z move's going to go first and KO through the shield without an Intimidate. So it might end up having to be... Oh, actually, he goes with the same lead.
Yes,
maybe he thinks that if this is played differently, he can do the same thing.
Yes, so we have Plasencia, so we have everyone leading the same thing again. We have Metagross and Yveltal on Anthony's side, and we have Whimsicott and Lele on Anthony's side. Oh, I love this.
Yeah, so one thing to note about the same lead from both sides is that, especially Ultra, I think, it's not really like resolved by building a certain way. No matter what team you have, you still have to play out the games and make decisions. It's not like you can build your team to beat common matchups and just not think during those games. Oh, nice! So this is the kind of stuff that we have to see. This should be able to KO through the training the bulk training that the Evaltal had. So that should be a clean knockout, and now Lunala can show up and do some cool stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I love the helping hand. You know, I will say, building on what you said, I think that is one of the few things I enjoy about Ultra. I think I'm feeling a little bit of format exhaustion right now.
Oh, me too.
But there's really like no team that sort of really like takes over the meta. It can kind of be whatever you want. And
it's very open-ended. We see some very cool things.
Yep.
Coco, huh?
Alright, so we have a Coco out, making our terrain turn from Psychic to Electric as well. It's shocking, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh god, okay, I didn't get a Miguel laugh on that.
Is this a bullet punch turn?
Yes,
because the Endeavor is very scary, as I said in game 1.
Yes, so Whimsicott comes out with a Tailwind and a bullet punch coming from the Metagross to knock out that poor Whimsicott.
Yeah, but Whimsicott already did its job. It's an amazing Pokemon, and it just did everything it had to do. I think for this game, the Whimsicott was a success. I like the idea of threatening for Endeavor and getting the safe Tailwind, so that the turn after, whatever's in the back, maybe a Lunala, can come in and sort of clean up the other three now that Evaltal is removed from the game.
Yes, so now both Anthonys have one Pokemon out of the game, and Lele was hit with Electro Web, knocking down its speed by 1 stage. Ogre coming in to make it rain.
Yeah?
No response from Miguel. Alright, thanks.
No rain
I gotta
in
try
California.
harder. Gotta try harder.
Next time.
That's the best thing about coming on stream is trying to make Miguel laugh.
We love Miguel.
We do love him.
Yeah, he's amazing. Shout outs to Miguel, he's awesome. Well, yeah, so Kyogre comes in, and it's actually better than Lunala for this role, since now with the speed advantage, you just want to hit both targets. So Water Spout, Origin Pulse, these are amazing options to go for. Anthony going for the switch, I personally would have wanted to see an attack with the Lele, since the Coco might have been Assault Vest, and it might have been able to take the water attack and hit back the Kyogre, but the Coco switch is out here, so I don't think that's like an issue for this turn.
And so we see both Anthonys switching Pokemon out. Lele for the Lunala and Coco for the other Kyogre.
Oh.
Bullet Punch going from the Metagross into the Lunala, and a Water Spout coming out. I can still hear the sounds.
Yeah.
Whew. Metagross being knocked out. And let's see what Plasencia brings in. Everyone's just floating.
Coco from the back, huh?
Yes.
So we haven't seen the item yet. We've seen the Electro Web, which is a common addition onto Assault Vest Coco sets. So we can make that assumption that it's Assault Vest, which is why I said I would have wanted to see the attack with Lele to provide that extra chip. But upon looking at the health again, it seems like that was not necessary. Yeah, so Anthony forfeiting here. Positioning-wise, there's not much you can do in this spot. So I think with his plan that he brought to the first 2 games, it's becoming clear that if Yveltal cannot stay due to stuff like Helping Hand, then the matchup starts becoming really bad. So this entire matchup, I think, revolves around keeping Yveltal alive.
Yes.
And the answer to that question will determine the winner of the game 3 and the set. And yeah, it's game 3. This is like do or die.
Here we are.
If you lose here, you're out of the tournament. Your tournament run is over. So here is where we want to see players make their boldest moves, whatever it takes to win, you know? So I'm hoping
Anthony
for...
has already, Anthony Plasencia has already won a PC. He won our last PC.
He knows what it means to go deep in a tournament.
Morales has, I think he started
a little bit later,
pretty recently.
Yeah, like last year.
Yeah, last season.
He's been able to take that poker theory with him and play in like really ballsy ways, and I can see improvement in that play style. I think it's like a really cool way to play, given that in Ultra you can really make use of some asymmetry of your team and your opponent's team and really swing games based on that. The damage and the numbers are just too high, so even upon resisted hits, it's so easy to take too much damage.
And so we see all of our leads the same, Whimsicott and Lele from Anthony, and Yveltal and Metagross from Anthony. Which is very interesting because at this point, I, as a player would be freaking out and I would be trying different things that I maybe didn't think of. So it's very interesting to see that they're both leading the same thing. But Lele coming out for, looks like that Kyogre again.
So Mr. Morale is approaching this turn in a slightly read-based way. He's trying to predict Mr. Plasencia's actions and sort of try to make him pick his poison. It's like, okay, I have a Lele and a Whimsicott, and you want both gone for your Yveltal. So I'm going to make you choose which one to remove, but since I know more about my team than you do, I will be able to have an advantage by making this decision. I think that is the mentality behind this choice. And I feel like the way you open this game will determine how you play the rest of the game, obviously. So I feel like this might be a similar thing that we have to see in later turns as well.
So Yveltal going for the Protect, and Metagross, the Iron Head into the Ogre. And Whimsicott going for a Tailwind. I don't think I even knew Whimsicott could learn.
Okay, so Tailwind
Trick
Whimsicott
Room.
is super cool.
Yes.
It won a Korean regional in 2017 by Trick Rooming before Roar. So Roar is -5, Trick Room is -6. With priority, Prankster Trick Room is -5. Whimsicott is faster than Arcanine. Roar goes up after Trick Room. So that's how, yeah.
That's hurting my heart.
But I mean, in here, that's not the reason why you use it. Here, it's just a very solid Trick Room user that has other disruptive packages.
Yes.
You usually see Encore, Taunt, but you also see Helping Hand, Fake Tears, and you see Trick Room now. So Anthony Morales is playing in a very informational kind of way. He's managing surprise information to best his opponent.
Origin Pulse missing the Yveltal, but knocking out the Tapu Koko.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it could have been better. But it could be worse. I don't know. I'm just trying to stay positive about this.
It is. The Trick Room positioning, I think, should still be better for Anthony, since he's Anthony Morales, since he's the one that is building around this Trick Room Whimsicott. But with GS Cup being GS Cup, you won't really know the speed tiers of these primals until you really like make moves with them and see how they go. And this is game 3.
That is a phrase I have not heard in a long time. GS Cup.
This is a very tricky scenario because depending on which order the Pokemon go, it's tough. And I think based on game 1, the Ogre is fast because it wasn't bulky. So we know that if Anthony's Ogre is bulky, it should be able to go first.
And so, Ogre on Morales' side going for the Protect, and Yveltal on Plasencia's side going for the Protect. Meaning that we take out Whimsicott's Focus Sash, leaving it hanging on with 1 HP.
Here's
and
the
Whimsicott
Endeavor.
going for the Endeavor.
Here's the Endeavor.
Also leaving it for 1/8 for the opposing Ogre going for 1 HP. Oof.
I actually like Mr. Plasencia's odds here because Whimsicott is still in their Trick Room. Endeavor is a physical attack that will not be affected by Prankster, so under Trick Room, it's going to go later.
And Yveltal coming out back into the Metagross. I'm sorry, my sentence syntax
Oh,
is
this
very bad
is...
there. And Whimsicott coming out for the Tapu Lele, changing our electric terrain to psychic terrain, meaning that priority moves. Sorry.
Yeah, a great adaptation from what Anthony was able to do in the first 2 games. This board will prevent the Whimsicott from getting its sash health taken out. So Endeavor will have potentially 1 or 2 more uses. Or maybe it can be a Tailwind, while threatening Endeavor. So there's a lot of options still, and wow.
But that Metagross taking 70%, 75% damage from that water spout, that is, or from the Origin Pulse,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's very interesting how that one information of Tail Room Whimsicott changes his entire set.
Tail Room? That's a new move.
Yeah, it usually refers to teams with both modes, and like you give yourself both moves in one plan, and you always stay ahead of your opponent.
Yes.
But
I think I ran a Lunala like that at Santa Clara last
Yeah.
year, which is so much fun.
So it would be cool in those teams to have a Pokemon that can learn both Tailwind and Trick Room, and we see that being very effective in this set in the Game 3.
Yes. And Metagross going in for the Iron Head into the Lunala. Which, by the way, guys, don't forget to go to your local GameStop with your Pokemon Pass and get your Lunala and Solgaleo. I still have to do
Oh yeah,
that.
those are
and
shiny.
Don't forget, at the same time, to put Sword and Shield on reserve. We are, I think, what, 3 weeks away from release?
Oh my god.
So excited. So excited. I am...
so close.
I am hoarding caffeine so I can stay awake Thursday night and still like be productive at work on Friday. Although I'm not going to be productive at work, it's fine. And Morales' Ogre going for that Protect.
It's a very strange situation because even though the Trick Room setter was Mr. Morales, he's the one that kinda wants to wait. And like that's because of the way the Kyogre is trained. It's really difficult to hit the right speed tier on a speedy set in a Trick Room context, even if it has crazy stats like Kyogre.
Yep. So Whimsicott coming back out for that knocked out Lunala.
I'm not sure how...
Yeah, I think at this point as a player, I would just kind of like, I don't know what I'm gonna do right now.
If this is the last turn of Trick Room, I guess protecting Metagross and Tailwinding is an option, but the opposing Whimsicott can match the Tailwind or Endeavor on the same turn. This is a very high pressure turn. I don't like the double protect here because I feel like that gives up half of the available pressure that Mr. Morales has, and I think both are needed in order to be able to stop the Whimsicott getting KO'd and setting up Tailwind. With the protect, that can happen with no repercussions whatsoever. But given that it's a very V-based scenario, Anthony Plasencia goes for the V, and that's a reasonable play too. I think it really comes down to how you evaluate it. I didn't like the double protect, but if it worked out in this scenario, it would have been good. But it would have only also happened 33% of the time. And in a best of 3, you want to win 66% of the time for you to win a set on average. So when you compare it to that number, it's not very great.
And Plasencia plucking off 2 Mons in the same turn. Whimsicott and Kyogre are now out of contention.
Oh, I wonder if Lele has Dazzling Gleam, because depending on the damage, it might be able to claim a KO on the Metagross and be able to 2-hit KO the Yveltal, because the Yveltal cannot Tailwind and KO if Metagross dies to Dazzling Gleam. So if Dazzling Gleam is an option, that might be something that Anthony Plasencia has to watch out for. So here's the Protect that watches out for that. And... oh, double protect.
Anthony going for the double protect as well, and the Lele will Moonblast into said protect.
So now you have Iron-Headed Metagross and Fake Outs twice. Because, yeah, well, I would roll for the crit here. I would not forfeit. I would go for the crit. I would Moonblast the... oh, actually, yeah, Bullet Punch and Sucker Punch. This
Bullet
game.
Punch goes
Actually, yeah.
into the Lele,
I forgot about the timer.
Oh!
And Sucker Punch, that's game.
Does not KO. There we go. Sucker Punch will come in for that KO.
Yeah, good catch from Anthony Plasencia, being able to time out the Psychic Terrain as well as the Trick Room to get a win. I would have wanted to see Origin Pulse from Mr. Morales' Kyogre on the last turn of Trick Room, But in such a high pressure scenario, you sometimes feel compelled to go for these sub 50% win conditions just because of how the format works. If you have to double protect because everything takes too much damage when you switch, that's something that you might want to think about and just go for the roll anyway.
Yes. So, Mr. Plasencia, if you wouldn't mind coming over here, please. He's not listening.
Interview?
Hi. I'm here. It's fine. He doesn't listen to me.
But yeah,
It's fine.
congrats to both players. That was a very interesting set.
That was so much fun. All right, sit down. Sit down, sit down. Here you go. He is...
Ooh, with a match slip.
Oh, yes. He is dressed up as a plumber today.
Yep.
Thank you for following our theme. So you said something really interesting last time at the PC that you won, that you committed to 10 games every day before that PC. Did you keep that up?
I didn't this week, but I have pretty much. I was really busy with work this week, but pretty much every day from that point on, I've tried to get some games in. Going to locals, there's been a bunch of locals at San Diego and TJ, as well as the ones at Miguel throw. So it just trying to like get comfortable with all the matchups possible. I don't know if I talked about this on stream, but I really don't think there's like a call right now. I think it's just like you bring whatever you're comfortable with. And hope that you dodge your bad matchups in Swiss, which I did. So.
I personally agree with it, and like I think what you've been doing with Yogurt, even though I personally have said certain things about Yveltal Kyogre, I think
I'm
it's
sorry, Terry says bad things about teams. Really?
Yeah.
I would never
one.
know that
Yeah,
about you.
except Zygarde, right? Like everything else sucks.
Yes,
So, yeah.
Zygarde. Oh, I miss Zygarde.
Yeah, me too.
In the meta, our little green snake. So.
You want to use it for Portland?
We have a Zygarde in Top Cut right now.
Oh wait, really?
Yes. So, I won't say who, but we do have a Zygarde in Top Cut.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I hope they.
Oh wait, I know who it is.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's awesome.
But yeah, as far as this match went, I played Anthony a bunch of times. That Whimsicott will get you because you don't think it has Trick Room, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna double into a game one because I'm gonna assume he's gonna go for the Trick Room turn one, and it ended up working out for me. And then game two, he completely just adjusted perfectly and stomped me.
Yeah.
Really good. And then I had to come back and play game three and protect the Yveltal a lot better because that's really what got me. He one shot the Yveltal. I was like, oh, okay, well then I lose, I guess. I have no way to match your Tailwind. I have no way to. Yeah, it's just a lot of things. So.
It definitely does a lot of things in that matchup.
So it
All
was
right.
rough. But
So
Anthony
we
did well.
are. I think a lot of us SoCal players are coming to Portland in 2 weeks. So excited. I'm mostly just excited to get out of LA and
me
to a
too.
place with real fall weather. So then what are you going to do the next 2 weeks to take everything that you've learned from this competition and apply it so that you can succeed in Portland?
I think when I started laddering a lot, I was trying to get a handle of the team and like how it ran. I think I have a pretty good handle of it right now. So there are very specific matchups that I would like to kind of like really fine-tune the matchup on.
Right.
Because like I said, you can hope that you don't face certain things in a big event, but if you do, you really have to play your outs, and sometimes you can come away with those wins even for auto losses. Like
finding ways to steal games.
So that's my prep. The next 2 weeks is nailing down specific matchups that I'm having a lot of struggle against, and then I have great friends, Terry included in one of those, who will help me prep those matchups. And also Terry included, it will be very critical on some of my game plans, which I need, you know. Sometimes guys are like, oh, I think you did okay, you know.
No, if you want like the realest advice and the best game theory talk, just get Terry rambling.
I'm not.
It is so much fun. I love it. All of our rambles in my car. I love it. I really do. All right, so we're still playing the rest of our round, so we're gonna. Hi, Miguel. That was our lovely Miguel. We
Shout outs
do
to
love
Miguel.
him. So let's do some fun questions for the both of you.
Oh.
All right, favorite Halloween candy?
You know, I
will
Sour
judge you
Patch
on
Kids.
this. Okay, valid,
Yeah.
very valid.
I'm gonna say candy corn just to annoy you.
No, I love candy corn.
Oh, really?
I am
actually
one of
think
those people who loves candy corn. It is
Oh.
classic Halloween candy. All right, now Halloween movies. Personally, the Addams Family movies, the live-action ones that came out in the 90s, are my favorites. And obviously, if you don't know, I'm a fan of the Netflix version of Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, is it
Yes.
good?
Oh, it's so amazing. I was rewatching episodes last night. Yes.
I don't really watch Halloween movies, but you know, I've been watching American Horror Stories.
Which seasons? Let's get into this.
You know, me and Dina have been catching up on pretty much all of them.
Okay.
So those are pretty good.
Like for me, for American Horror Story, the first couple of seasons, like season 1, classic. Season 2, the end of the season, they start to like freak out a little bit and like, oh my god, we only have 3 episodes left, what are we gonna do? But then season 3 with Coven comes back in, love it. I will say though, I didn't finish the season. I have this issue with American Horror Story that I start the season and I'm like, this is great, and then halfway through I just give up. But the circus season, the episode about the deranged clown, is one of the best episodes of TV I've ever seen.
Oh.
I love that episode so much. And that was actually the episode that made me give up on the rest of the season. I
So
was like,
now that we got that covered, let's go ahead and go through Breaking Bad. I'm
Yes.
sure the viewers want to know about Breaking Bad.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
your opinion on that? After that, we'll
as
talk about.
someone who works in this industry, I have not finished Breaking Bad. I know. Oof.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's like whatever.
I'm bad.
I mean, nothing's ought to be watched, you know? It's kind of just like, you
See, I
watch
have
what you
to
want.
watch more animation, so I'm like making my way through She-Ra.
Oh, okay,
But
that's
also
cool.
Great British Bake Off.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I am preparing for Sword and Shield by watching Great British Bake Off.
That makes
Yes.
sense.
The
Yes.
alchemy, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
all
yes,
creamy, all creamy. Mary Berry. Mark my words. All right, Halloween movies, go.
I don't really watch that many, like,
It
seasonal
doesn't
stuff.
have to be like
But,
horror
like,
movies.
no, but that's what I mean. Like, I kind of like horror stuff, like Black Mirror, like some of the more unsettling ones.
Like there's the sci-fi.
Like, I'm a big fan of fear that's, like, very much believable. Like,
Mhm.
like that can happen to me, like, right now. That kind of relatable fear. Or I want, like, some kind of, like, cosmic horror where I'm like, confronted with something that I can't, like, stop.
Babadook.
Because that's fear.
You should watch the Babadook.
I probably should.
Babadook is amazing. I have to rewatch that. It is also a gay icon.
Oh, I heard about that, actually.
Yes, Babadook, gay icon. So, all right, I think we have rambled on enough, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this first round of Top Cut, and we will be back with our top 4,
Four.
right?
Wish me
Thank
luck.
you.
Oh, yeah.
Bye.